Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, YouTube. It's ya old pal Dustin coming back to you live from the studio. So good to be back home and joined by my brother in arms, the other bearded beauty of Zephyr, Bo Van Buren. Bo, how you doing, partner?
Oh, we living.
We living right. Good to be back in our home quarters. It was a journey that took us to beautiful sunny Detroit to take in all that exponential 2026 had to offer. More on that in a bit, but
Mm-hmm.
man, is it ever good to be home.
Yeah. We got some exciting things to share. We
Dude.
got kind of an update on, things going on with the sim.
Mhm.
I think the last time we were in here, there were some pretty interesting issues that have
Uh-huh.
since been ironed out, and new ones that have arose. But that's kind of the rub when you're doing independent dev work.
Right.
From what I understand, anyway. I'm not a dev, so I can't
No,
really speak for them. So
knowing that little from that side of things, I know there's been a lot of diligent work to correct a couple issues, but we were able to take the new test part of the sim with us to Detroit. Got to show off a little bit of thermal, which is incredible. It's really getting dialed in. It's still got a little bit of ghosting. We're performing an update now, so we won't get into the sim. Buy me a car, says Emily Smith, Q3T. Maybe I can afford a Matchbox or a Hot Wheel. You can choose. Um, I don't have any brand loyalty to either one, but it's going to be small. Uh, but yeah, we'll think about it. We'll think about it.
the hottest of Hot Wheels.
Yeah, I used to have a whole host of Hot Wheels and the cool little tracks. Uh, the things that made it fly through a window one time.
I got three right here, baby.
Let's go. Look at that.
They're all the same car.
Is it your car?
Yeah.
Of course it is.
It's the A86,
Your car, which
baby.
is also in the simulator, correct?
Yep, it is.
Yep.
But yeah, I might have a small obsession. There's also like a Lego set of it right there.
Adorable.
Yeah, no, what are you
It's
gonna
famous. This car is famous. It's been seen. It's on the top of our 20x20 booth, which if you were at Expo, you got to see that in full display.
Yep.
For those of you that did come by the booth at Exponential, thank you so much. It was so nice to get to see some familiar faces like the folks over at Carasoft. Really enjoyed getting to know them a little bit better. Big shout outs to all those fine folks. Had a really good time meeting Paul and Chelsea and getting to know Carly a little bit more. Absolute blast. And then getting to hang out with our friends over at VIPC. Really great to meet Alessandra and Lynn. I really enjoyed that. Thank you so much for the Virginia peanuts. Those were outstanding.
I'm glad that you and the sales team had an excellent time.
You, however, got to know the intricacies, ins and outs of booth build out, and I actually think it'd be kind of pertinent to share some of your findings for those that do attend these shows, and what some hidden costs and some pitfalls could look like, because I think that's important to share.
Hidden costs and pitfalls. Well,
Oh,
welcome
hey
in,
Stu,
Stu.
welcome in.
I'm gonna try not to get salty about it because I spent like 2 or 3 days. I feel like full days, pretty much, dedicated to try and make sure that we didn't get absolutely screwed.
Yeah.
So when we were building the booth out, when you go to do your initial pricing and stuff for things, make sure that if you're having them like if you don't have a whole like a big old barrel of money to throw at Freeman, make sure that you keep a close eye on things. Like when I initially built out our pricing for building the booth out, I put standard time, and then I had them foreman it themselves. But apparently that meant that they could override what I paid for and charge me almost double for it because they built it on a Saturday instead of on standard time hours, so OT. So if you're going to do that, cautionary tale, send someone ahead of time and have them oversee the booth being built so that they have to build it when you told them that you would.
Same goes for teardown as well. If we hadn't been there, Bo and I, for that, there would have been a lot of extra charges incurred.
Well, that's just because the two folks that they had building it were sweethearts, or tearing it down.
They were awesome.
Were sweethearts, but they kept saying, "We don't think it's all going to fit in there." Oh, it fits.
It does.
It came out of there. It'll fit back in there.
It all fits back in the big old crate that we had delivered. But yeah, Bo had to spend a lot of time back there trying to coordinate after the thing was built and finding out how many secret costs, hidden costs, other incurred costs. And as a small business, that's stuff that we pay really close attention to because, we're not one of these huge companies. We're a really small but very tenacious company, but we steward our money well. And that was one of those things that was a real shock to see just how much that can be manipulated.
They billed me 3 times for the charge of using the scissor lift. Yeah. $556 per hour, by the way.
Yeah. So keep that in mind, you showgoers, you friends of the industry.
Show attenders / exhibitors. Get the itemized list out of what they did for your booth, and be kind. Like lead with kindness, because when the young lady who was overseeing the electrical came back by, she was just like, I was hoping you were going to be a little bit of a jerk so that I could just say no to the fixes that we were doing for you, but you had to go and be charming. And I was like, shucks.
Darn it. But no, that is correct. Lead with kindness and question with curiosity will get you so much further, because a lot of these folks are just doing their jobs also.
Well, I had told her straight up, I was like, if you had talked to me yesterday, it would have been a totally different conversation, because I was heated.
Right. So more about Exponential. So, we were there on the show floor, one of the bigger booths. We did get to make some new friends, like some new clients of ours over at Oklahoma State University. It was a dynamite moment to meet Scott and some of those folks. Thank you so much for taking the time, because as a gigantic weather nerd, to learn more about their meteorology program and how they're incorporating drones into that, and then how we can incorporate the simulator into that, was incredible. Like, what a neat moment to get to kind of have that meeting of the minds and just scratch that nerd itch that I had. So really cool to get to meet them.
A lot of focus on agriculture on this last, which I wasn't expecting. Usually Expo's kind of like military guys, and like gov contracts, but yeah, ag was up there.
It really was. We got asked about agriculture, about flight path stuff with agriculture, spray rates, which I thought was really interesting. We were able to bring back a lot of really good information to our dev team, because we take notes while we're at the show from everybody that comes by, whether they're a client or a prospective client. And we were able to offer up quite a bit of stuff, especially in agriculture. It was really interesting.
It's true.
Outside of that, I will say, what was promised and what was delivered was vastly different. It was one of for as big of a show as it should have been, and as much as it was touted as being a really big show, we were told to be on the lookout for about 12,000 attendees and to expect quite a glut of leads. For us, it really became almost like a vendor show where we just got to talk to other vendors, walking the show floor and going to the other booths, talking to other attendees. It was not at all as well attended as what it was to be touted. I was, in that aspect, much like some of the other vendors that we talked to, I was really disappointed in how it was attended. We even did an in-booth demo, which very kind of Exponential to do that for us, to make some past wrongs righted from last year. But even in that, we only had about 20 people come by. This was with a full push from their digital board and direct text messaging. And although I'm grateful for those that we did get to speak to, I will say, like, it was a little disheartening to see how poorly the show was attended. I think anecdotally, the two or three others, and I don't necessarily have to name names, so I won't, um, felt the same way, that it was a slow show.
Well, it's interesting the disparity that you see, because like some folks online or like LinkedIn and stuff like that were posting about how great it was, and
Hmm.
like it's almost like, did we go to the same show?
I'm curious.
um
Yeah.
so I mean, we attended mixers and we
Hmm.
talked to people and like we did the whole shebang. Like, I don't know, it was just a very, very different experience from what I think we had versus, you know, what you read about.
Sure. And I think that transparency is important too, because we wouldn't be doing our jobs as your marketing and branding team for Zephyr if we didn't give you our really unvarnished opinion and what we saw there at the show. I think there's a lot of steps that could be made to either increase awareness or um, drive intent for the show. I know
Yeah.
next year it's going to be in Miami, which would probably be a big piece of it. Being in Detroit, I'm sure was unattractive to some folks.
You don't want to go to sunny Detroit
Look,
in the spring?
that was a the highlight of the trip was probably that Philly cheesesteak that I got from
What's the best thing you had in Detroit? A Philly cheesesteak.
a Philly cheesesteak. It really was delicious.
Best thing you had in
Uh,
Detroit wasn't even a Detroit food.
it wasn't. The second thing was the burritos that we had. Like those were really good.
I think another standout was our Uber driver. She was excellent.
Oh, she was so sweet, Miss
Um,
Lucretia. Big shout
oh
out to
yeah.
Miss Lucretia.
If you're watching this, Miss Lucretia, we love you.
Hope you're doing well. Hope your Kia Forte's hanging in there.
Hell yeah.
Watching Bo try to bend himself into that position was a low light and highlight for me.
Well, you know, what are you gonna do?
I felt terrible for your injured leg, but I thought, wow, this is be one for the ages, and you did it. You made it work. I was
Well,
really proud of you.
it was a tough time for me regardless. I probably should have not been there for this show.
Well,
So, but
glad you were there to help clear up that stuff with build out and tear down. And huge shout out to the rest of our team that went, especially Parker. Absolutely, just what a workhorse.
oh yeah, rock
And
star.
staying with it, talking to everybody, staying engaged. Uh, Man, I cannot say it's my first show or second show in attendance with Parker,
Mhm.
and just seeing him develop as a salesperson and as a spokesperson. Um, there are very few people that I truly trust with our brand through and through, and that's just my own like. I trust our C-suite. I trust most of the guys, but to like really go out and like pontificate on how great we are and really drive that home, man, Parker did a great job. It was awesome.
I
So
don't know, man. He'll always be the guy who showed up to see UAV in short shorts for me.
looking back, that may not have been a terrible idea, honestly. We call that booth talent, Bo.
Okay, yeah. So all booth boys
Booth
going
boys.
forward are gonna have to wear, you know, 3 to 5 inch inseam shorts.
Yeah.
Let the calves out, let the quads peek out a little
Mhm.
bit.
If it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. But I wanted to give those flowers. I think those
Yeah.
flowers were well deserved. So, thank you to the hard work of our sales team
Yep.
in, making the absolute most out of the show. That was really cool to see. But yeah, other than that, Exponential will probably be walking the show floor next year.
If
Um,
that.
if that, but I'd like to at least have a hand in it still. We did get to hang out with one of our good friends over at Lineberg. I'm really excited to extend our conversations with them a lot more. Another Virginia-based company that's doing some incredible work in the energy space.
Shout out to Lee.
Yep, big shout out to Lee. It was great getting to know you. I'm looking forward to how things develop over this year.
Well, Lee,
And,
when I was speaking to him, he'll actually be at Energy Drone, which we will be
Oh,
attending.
cool. We will be.
If you're going to be there, we do have a talking or a training kind of thing
Demo thing.
on Wednesday the 24th. It'll be at 10:30 to 10:50 a.m. and we'll be going over like what's in the sim, you know, kind of like showing kind of like what we do here where we showcase parts of the simulator, but we'll be treating it more, we're leaning more towards the Q&A because we want to know what the energy sector could use us for, and like what they would need, you know, some kind of training for, and just kind of see, you know, what their pain points are, because like we don't really have a eye into that yet. I mean, Lee's a good starting point, but you know, yeah, because he's Linebird does a lot of cool tech attachments for drones. So
yeah, the more that we can help those pilots become, you know, better, safer pilots in whatever space that we can, where they can find utility with us, or that we can help to build out. That's what we're here for. And I think going to the Energy Drone and Robotics show is going to be huge for that, because we are such active listeners. You know, we're going to be there holding that Q&A. We'll do the demo, but really we want to hear from the people and make sure that we're putting in the things that those pilots in those industry sectors would need, beyond just making for, you know, safe and you know, intelligent pilots. We want to make sure that those that are entering the workforce have the skills that they need well beforehand too, so that even the education center could benefit from these updates to the sim with regards and aspect to energy and fuel.
For sure.
So getting to meet some of those big players, talking to like folks like Shell and things of that nature, going to be great. I'm really looking forward to for doing that. It'll be myself and Josh, so he's hard to miss. He's very tall.
And he's like what, 6'8"?
I think 7'2".
He's catching up to Yao Ming.
He's up there. He's very Shaq-esque in height only.
Shaq-esque.
And that's going to be fun. Well, it'll be a mad dash for us. We'll be there for the Tuesday of the show, walking the floor, and then Wednesday for the talk, walk the floor a little bit more, and then we'll head back to our respective home bases. But if you're going to be there in Houston, reach out, give us a shout. Happy to come swing by, bump fists, and see what's going on and answer your questions. So going to be a blast. I'm really looking forward to it. We've got that one in June, and then July, I believe we just nailed down the STEM camp, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so we do a STEM camp in Fredericksburg, Virginia. There, I think AppsCon is also in July. I gotta figure out the logistics on that.
Oh, great event coordinator.
Yes. So yeah, that's gonna be July 13th to the 17th in Fort Lauderdale, and then
right on.
We have another one in August, assuming I don't just cancel them all.
We're not quite there yet, but boys, where expectation management has been a big word in our department over the last couple weeks since Detroit. But really, I only have one big piece of news to get to today, and this is breaking news. So, here for your news segment, breaking news. DJI has essentially started to make some real waves and wakes with the FCC filing against them. As we all know, DJI has been under massive scrutiny and under a microscope since last year, and a little bit before then as well, with possible security vulnerabilities, which is why they have been under fire from the FCC and banned from a lot of regulatory use, government use, things of that nature. Doesn't seem to be the case. In fact, that is looking more and more as if that was completely fabricated. According
fake
to
news.
Ishvina Singh through Drone DJ is the article I pulled, but this is also in MIT's new white papers that just came out, as well as CUAV News has reported on it. The Drone Girl has reported on this as well. But this is the one that I thought got most into the actual statistics of this.
Fascinating.
But the assessment conducted by On Defend, a U.S. cybersecurity company staffed by former military and government security professionals from the USA, did their own independent study targeting two of DJI's newest systems, the dual camera Air S3 and the Matrice 4E. Matrice 4E sounds familiar, right, Bo?
Uh-huh.
So after months of adversarial testing across hardware, firmware, apps, radio frequencies, supply chain components, network traffic, the firm reported 0 critical findings, 0 high-risk findings, and 0 medium-risk findings. So the internet is abuzz with this information, and rightfully so, because really there hadn't been a whole lot that would substantiate the claims that there were security vulnerabilities.
Mhm.
It was mostly just standing on, we don't want this, we think this is bad, China, 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 which is something that we hear often, either within or tangential to the administration. But with these independent findings and some other studies that are soon to be coming out, this wasn't a surface level test. This was doing a full spectrum RF scan from 1 megahertz to 6 gigahertz. Hardware teardowns, silicon level analysis, meddler in the middle attacks, firmware testing, privilege escalation attempts, replay attacks, jamming simulations, network interception exercises. They did everything to try and break these things. They did almost everything you could possibly do other than somehow hack into how these are being. There is no data being shared outside of the United States within these drones. Zero. None.
Interesting.
None. The report finds that they could not find any evidence to support the nightmare scenarios many DJI users had feared lawmakers were assuming. That's why this release is likely to hit a very emotional portion of thousands of Americans whose jobs are supported by these. DJI's reporting says more than 80% of the 1,800 plus state and local law enforcement agencies using drones rely on DJI systems.
Yeah.
So, what does this mean? This means that these agencies are no longer going to have to petition for dollars to buy new setups.
Well,
that means
yes and no. It really depends on their leadership, honestly, because
that's what it boils down to.
One of the big things that we had was, because of the whole DJI scare, with the worries about the reporting and whatnot, was the blue list and the green list for specific drones that law enforcement was allowed to use versus not allowed to use, which saw Skydio get a big boost, considering.
Of course it did.
Well, drone companies like Skydio and Brink got a big boost to sales, obviously, because if you couldn't use the DJI drones that you had, which is what most PDs that we had talked to initially were using, because of, like I've said before, price point and quality levels, it's hard to beat the DJI offering.
You're absolutely right.
So, it's lobbying, man.
Well, that's just it. Like, who stands to gain the most by pushing out DJI? And that is some of these US-based drone companies that have direct ties into government spending.
Yeah.
And some of those key players in it within these lobbies. And if we have this independent study ran by an American company made up of former government and military folks that find no security vulnerabilities, and we look forward from there, then it kind of behooves the FCC to come up with information that substantiates their claims.
Yep.
Like, show us the data. If they've got data on it and they can prove their stance, I'm all for it.
Yep.
But I haven't seen it, and I've looked for something to substantiate the claims.
Yeah.
Some independent testing from some groups that would not stand to benefit, people that have no skin in the game. So yeah, I have a hard time swallowing that this wasn't anything other than trying to push out something that is cheaper and better compared to American-made products at the moment.
Yeah.
My hope would be that companies like Skydio or any name an American drone manufacturer would be able to step up to the plate
Yeah.
and come up with something. It may not be cheaper, but it could still be as economic as possible
Yeah.
to try and compete.
That's fair.
That's free market.
It's the competition is supposed to be there, and I get some of the arguments about certain labor practices in certain places versus doing it. My argument's always been, if we can't beat them at it while not succumbing to the same kind of labor, then we don't deserve the win.
Well, and I think that, hey, Alex, welcome in, buddy. I also am a firm believer that we as Americans deserve the right to vote with our dollar.
Oh yeah.
It's no different than, like, I don't shop at Hobby Lobby. I shop at Michael's because I don't like a lot of their practices. I vote with my dollar. Now, do I spend a lot of money at either one of those places? Not anymore. My mom sure does. She should probably own stock in one or the other, but she has the choice. And I think whether that's an American company or an international versus American company, these groups should be able to choose with their dollar whom they want to buy from, as long as it is safe and an intelligent move for especially governmental agencies.
Yeah.
So just to out of hand say, like, no, 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 then I think we have to look at vehicles. I think you have to look at other aircraft. I think you have to look at boats. Anything that could be considered a security vulnerability, because I mean, Chryslers are made by an Italian company now, and they're some of the most easily hacked vehicles on the market.
Yeah, that's one of the benefits of driving old stuff.
That's also true.
You ain't hacking my car.
Nah. No, not unless it gets struck by lightning while doused in radiation and becomes like Johnny 5.
Yeah, that's just not gonna happen. My car's too old for that.
Johnny 5 is alive.
It's one of those things where it's like, my check engine light is a little light that flashes at me.
Incredible. It's either going to self-destruct or you have a sensor out.
Yep, something like that.
The way it should be.
It's like, ow, something hurts, help me.
Right.
But that light it can only be like 8 things.
That's also true. Whereas with anything new, it could be a whole myriad of things.
That is true.
But if you would like to, if you, the viewer, would like to further this conversation, bring it up with your senator, bring it up with your representatives, bring it up at the state level.
Yep.
This is good information for us all to be armed with whenever we're making purchasing decisions for departments. And being a brand agnostic simulator, we do have several DJI drones available to operate in the sim with their correct flight physics, because that's something that we take the time to do. But this is also a really good way that you could test out some of these drones, Chinese versus American versus whatever, and make your mind up on your own. But
some of them are expensive.
Some of them are very pricey. It's also a really good way to drive a hot rod without having to pay for the hot rod.
Exactly. You can fly a $40,000 to $70,000 drone for the low cost of whatever we're charging now. It's definitely not 40K.
Definitely not 40K, but anywhere from the hobbyist license that you can actually purchase yourself before too long. We're putting in a self-serve function where if you'd like to come to the site and as a hobbyist can buy one right off the shelf with our new tool that we'll be implementing soon, or if you're a business on the smaller side, we'll have a checkout function for you as well. So far fewer hurdles for you to have to jump through. We're removing a lot of that friction, and those prices will be available on point of record for education, public safety. Of course, we do work out something pretty nice for the education sector just because it's near and dear to our heart, and we want to ensure that as many people are getting educated on drone safety and functionality as possible. So be on the lookout for that. We'll be posting about it. If you're not following our LinkedIn, highly recommend you do so. I've been super active on that as of late, seeing some really good growth there. So yeah, fire some questions away on our social media. Love to answer those for you.
Yep. In the meantime, I have the simulator loaded up and ready to roll if you guys wanted to fly around a little bit with us. Not really exactly sure what we're going to be getting into, but I'm going to go ahead and switch us over to that view so you guys can see the sim. Yeah, so we have a lot going on, and I'm actually going to remove our pictures on here so everybody can see the
They'd much rather see the sim than this mug.
The majesty. Oh, that doesn't hide me. Or where am I? There's me. There's...
Nice. Oh, we set up a little bit.
Well, I mean, you're gone now.
Oh, you took us away? I have a delay on what I'm able to see.
And
there we go.
We're gonna fly around a little bit in the sim. So, for those of you who have never gotten into the sim before, highly recommend checking your settings in your controller to make sure that it's reading correctly, which I'm gonna do. You can see it's showing my PS5 controller on here because I'm a degenerate and fly with a PlayStation controller because it makes sense to me.
That's a great point, though, that you can use a myriad of different controllers within our sim. As long as you can plug it in, you have access.
You can mess with
the controller.
You can mess with dead zones. You can mess with input curves, which is too brainy for me, but it's a thing that you can do. You can map the controller to whichever specific type of flying you're used to, whether that be mode 2, mode 3, so on and so forth. And then if you're having issues with your controller actually, doing what it says it's supposed to be doing, you can quick calibrate or go into in-depth calibration for it. If you are flying with any of the Orca controllers, they tend to have an issue where they'll continuously ascend. This would be where you would handle that. My advice would be to clear your dead zones and then do your quick calibration to see if it fixes it. If it doesn't, then go do the in-depth one. With that, make sure your settings are good. I've got the grass on high def, but if you have a machine that suffers from that kind of thing, you can turn it off, or you can put it to basic. Same thing with graphics, you can do that, or you can just simply click the auto adjust button, and then you've got your resolutions, and then your audio, which I have all of mine at 50 because I'm an old man, and a lot of audio these days makes me go deaf.
Turn it down, you kids.
So, scenarios, what we have on here, we have our standard offering, which is tutorial all the way up through the beach now. We have our industry specific scenarios, so tower inspection and bridge inspection. I believe that we're going to be doing some updates to the bridge and the tower at some point in the near future. I think that was talked about. And then we have our search and rescue modules, which I think that Dustin had mentioned that he wanted me to bring up the thermal in this. Just as a heads up, the thermal is experiencing a bug right now. I'll let Dustin kind of go into that while I'm loading it up, though.
Yeah, so it looks amazing. For it being bespoke, this is not a plugin. This is not something that we borrowed from another system. We essentially, what our dev team, who is just incredible, built a more or less a FLIR system within these drones for these specific modules. SAR Mountain, SAR Fundamentals. I believe Beach has it as well, and then the warehouse. But there is something that is experienced with different kinds of thermal, and that's a little bit of ghosting because it's dependent on frame rate. So when you move thermal around, there will be a little bit of after image as it gets to its new fixed point. Ours is a little high. We're going to be toning that down to get it more real world, to where that ghosting isn't quite as of now. But flying in this, if you hit T, I believe, there it is. So this is thermal, and then as you look around, you'll see that ghosting where things kind of get a little blurry for a second and then fix. So what we're going to be doing is toning down that little bit of ghosting. It's, for our eye, it looks pretty severe. For those that were at the Detroit show, they felt that it was pretty true to form. But for this to be a simulator, to simulate real life, real world, We want it to be as close to the real deal as possible. So that is why we'll be working to fix this. This is in the iron bow format. If you wanted to switch it over to either white hot, black hot, red hot, there's a little drop down underneath the temp gauge where you can choose the different uh, looks for it. So something a little bit more like IR. We also have black hot, looks really cool. I love that.
I do want to point out, you can kind of see, like, you can see exactly, like, some of the things are more reactive than others, and, like, they change depending. So,
Right.
you even have, like, a night vision.
Oh, night vision looks so cool.
And, you know, we have graded fire, where you can kind of see where things are hotter or colder, depending. And once again, this is something that is still in development. So, you know, it's one of those things where, yes, you can kind of see the vision right now, but you can also see where there's room to grow. And like Dustin said earlier, this is totally bespoke. So, like, we didn't just copy or take a tool that was already built inside of the program we use for Zephyr and just, like, lay it over. It doesn't work like video games where it's like, you know, everything is blue except for the thing that you want to interact with, which is orange. I actually have a pretty funny anecdote about when I saw thermal on a drone for the first time. I was in North Carolina in the summer, and everything was red or orange, so there was no blue on that whole thing.
It hot.
But it's important to say, because, like, I think there's a little bit of a disconnect there, but we're building this completely from the ground up, which is why it's taking a little bit longer, but we want to make sure that we've got it absolutely nailed. And we have a lot of friends in the space that specifically deal with the study of thermography that we're using as sources for this. So it will be as close to reality as it can possibly be before we, you know, 100% release it out to the crowd.
But from its humble beginnings to now, this is still just, I mean, huge props to our dev team for building this out. It's really, really cool. It was super impressive to get people's hands on it at the show. We'll be showing it again when we're in Houston, hopefully with those updates installed. But I am so proud of this, proud of the guys' work behind it. Like, super well done. So yeah, that's what we're dealing with, and especially with search and rescue, this really changes the game up, where we're able to hunt and find the lost hiker or the lost camper, and you know, a lot of this drone technology is moving in this direction. That's why we saw the use case for this to make this happen. Yep, by hitting M, it goes into map mode, so you can see your orientation for the drone to follow those directions, where it says, you know, go to the northeast side of the mountain. This way you can better orient yourself as if you were actually out standing. You can see in the bottom right hand corner, that is the pilot's view of what's happening. And by hitting the other button on your controller, depending on which controller you're using, switches you to that first person view. So really cool to see how this interacts, shows you your location. And I believe, do we have the return to home loaded in yet as well?
I am not sure.
I know it's being worked on, and I'm really excited for that as well. That'll be a neat function.
Can't remember the button for return to home right now.
I don't remember either. I know it was in early development when we first talked about it, so
yeah.
No promises there on that one, but it is being worked on. Another really cool aspect that we're loading in.
Yeah, I don't want to risk it, but the other thing is, with this, you can see some of the functionality that's going to be going in as well. Like on the top right there, you can see time of day, you can see weather. Those are things that we're working on. You can kind of see the direction of the wind and the speed. These are all things that, you know, we're constantly working on, you know, making as real as they can possibly be. Once again, you know, we want to be as absolutely realistic as we can possibly be. It's just kind of our shtick at this point.
Yep, we're nothing if not true to form. Like, this is what we are all about, is bringing you the absolute closest thing that you can get to flying in the real world without having to worry about. That's another thing I wanted to bring up too. I got to talk to a couple different insurance agencies and explore some more of their case studies on how things like Zephyr Drone Simulator are making a huge impact on saving money and time for different groups, be they public safety or education, in reducing how much money is being spent on things like crashed drones or damage to person or property. Um, the value's there.
I failed because I didn't find the hiker.
Wow.
It's okay.
They're fine. They're probably just taking a nap. But yeah, so I'm really happy with where things are headed. A couple tweaks here and there, but I think we can all agree that's pretty impressive for what's becoming more available, and especially for that price point. I just can't say enough good things about it. I'm super excited to be able to share more of these updates and developments, reducing that friction for you, the viewer, to be able to purchase these. Remember, if you're part of a larger group, if you've got a class size of 5 or more and you'd like to test this out, reach out to us. We're always happy to provide more information, maybe do a trial of our licenses. We find getting this in the hands of those folks makes it a very easy purchasing decision for you.
For sure.
Once you get to experience it yourself.
It's true.
But yeah, that's pretty much all the news that's fit to print today on today's live stream. I'm excited for some of these new developments with the FCC. Hopefully they take this information to heart and help free up some of this stuff for a lot of these agencies that have already invested time and money into their drone program.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm excited to see our developments as they come and proffer those up to the people to check out more of. And I guess I'm also excited to go to Houston. I'm typically not, but Houston, it's going to be fun this time.
Houston and Dallas are the two cities in. I like Austin. Austin's all right,
mm-hmm.
But it's a hard sell for me for Houston and Dallas.
San Antonio's
for Dallas,
fun.
It's mainly the airport for me. It's awful.
Yeah, DFW is no fun. Dallas Love's okay. It's just tiny.
I just don't want to ride your Skyrail. I want to be able to walk where I need to go.
The Skyrail's got its perks every once in a while, though, especially if you're running late. But it's also very close to my folks and my little sister, who live just south of there in Waxahachie. So I know when I hit Dallas, I'm almost home. So I can't complain too hard about it. But otherwise, we'll be on the road. Check out our socials. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button below this video. That helps us out a whole lot with the algorithm. Give us a share, if you would, with some folks that you think might benefit from the sim, or if you think they would find us delightful and charming and our dulcet tones. Share it out there, and then maybe we'll buy Emily a car if we do enough. We grow the channel enough.
Hey, we told Emily what we had money for.
For now.
Hot
maybe
Wheels,
it's one of those
Matchbox.
paperclip things.
I can only really afford micro machines.
Ooh, micro machines. Heck yeah.
Yeah. What about that shout?
There we go. I like it. We'll do a Polly Pocket.
But yeah, so be good to each other, and remember, go ahead of time and oversee them building your booth.
Yep. Get that itemized list.
Save you like $5,000.
Yep. Chunk of change.
Anywho,
all right, we'll see you folks next Thursday. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining us. As always, Zephyr Drone Simulator, and I'm Dustin. This is Bo. We'll see you soon.